Start fire. Shots fired.
Copy, shots fired. El Paso Boulevard. If I get additional units to start. Bravo 26, check.
29, put me on.
Check.
Deer 21 en route. Location.
Del Paso
We have
Boulevard.
suspect's gun. Suspect is hit. All officers are okay. All officers are okay.
Copy, all officers okay. Units can reduce. In Del Paso Boulevard.
All right. Union 40, go ahead and start a CSI.
Gonna make the profiles boom, 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 boom. What it is, as you can tell by that thumbnail, that's exactly what it is. Two young Northern California rappers, deceased, gone. And I know it's old news, but the new news is what I'm bringing to you. I'm bringing you guys the righteous, real spill on why come, how come, what shall come, right? Why does it have to go this route? What it isn't is added preservatives right here on Gunner's Profiles. We ain't even going to get into that. We're just going to speak some real. Now, as you can tell by that clip, that's Slow B and Young Bris, a Stockton native, Stockton rapper, and a Sacramento, California rapper. Now, we both know that Sacramento, California, Stockton, California, now these areas wiggle differently. They wiggle violently and they wiggle differently. They've always been lands on their own and of their own, meaning they take care of them and theirs and what they got going on. Now, when you speak on Northern California rap, you automatically assume brown rappers, Chicano rappers, rappers like GB and Acito, and of course, Young Iggs out of Modesto. These are the people that are predominantly blowing up. You got Rico Too Smooth out of Sacra, Broderick area. These are the individuals that people think when they think Northern California rap. But this is furthest from the case. Yes, they do represent Northern California to the fullest. They do put out some bangers, but at the same time, they aren't the only ones doing it. See, there's a little bit of everybody doing it. And there's a lot of rappers that seem to be out of Northern California losing their life. Now, the same thing's happening down south, but we're not speaking about that in this episode. What we're talking about is these two young Northern California rappers who met their demise early at young ages, in their 20s. Now, Slow B, coming from Stockton, California, was on the up and coming. This was a rapper that I really paid no attention to. I really wasn't up on what he had going on, other than I knew he had beef. You see, there's a certain type of element when it comes to these new style rappers. Back in my days, it was all about telling a story. It was all about getting down, man. It was all about walking them streets, making that bag, getting to that bag, getting to them tortas, or whatever the case may be. That's what they represented when it was hip hop. It was telling the story of your land, of where you're from, your hood, your barrio, your turf, your set, whatever the case may be, and whatever you may call it. In a menudo style, in a direct fashion, they were out there representing that. Now, hip hop as a whole has always been looked down upon as street. Okay, and that was just a label given to it by those in the administration that could give it that, right? Because it comprised mostly African American rappers and, of course, Latino rappers. So, of course, when it comes to black and brown, they're always going to be shat upon, meaning they're always going to be looked at differently and basically accused of keeping it too street, keeping it too hood. But you can only talk about your environment and what's around you. So hip hop is going to have that edge. Not only is hip hop a story of our lives, your life and my life, but it's also a story of them streets and growing up there, what it entails, what you got coming, which is a whole lot of nothing but misery. And of course, misery loves company. Menudo, the wind's blowing, right? So you have this rapper Slow B out of Stockton who was up and coming. And as I sat down and I started to listen to his rap music, as I started to listen to what he was boom bangling, what he had going on out there, I knew first and foremost right from the gate, this kid was very talented. He reminded me of a young Messy Mark before smoking up under the Richmond Bridge. He reminded me of the way the Bay used to wiggle. Only coming out of the Stockton area wasn't nothing scarier than seeing a motherfucker like Slow B walking down the street with a pit bull terrier. That's exactly how it was. But this era that we live in is definitely different. We live in the ghost era, the era where they use a ghost to make a ghost, right? And it's definitely something different. And it's definitely something like me, it's hard to become accustomed to. But then again, living in the streets and living and knowing exactly what's going on through that 90s era, I can see it. Oh yeah, I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. It was only a matter of time before this individual lost his life to the streets. When you're rapping about the streets, when you're speaking on your enemies, when you're constantly berating your enemies or the hood that you go against, when you're constantly issuing challenges and letting people know that you're out there, that you're really out there carrying whatever you're carrying, you're speaking on it, you have to be about it. Now, obviously, that man was about it. He got killed, tragically taken from us in the city of Manteca, California, which befuddles me because at the end of the day, Manteca is nothing but a speck in the wind on the map of California. I'm not going to take nothing from Manteca. There's some real heavy hitters out that way. And of course, being in close proximity to Stockton, California, one never knows, does one. But at the same time, to lose your life in a city that you're not even from, it's all I could say is it's very, it's fucked up. How about that? We're going to do it like that, man. It's a tragic ending to a story that had longevity, that this guy had a lot of talent. There was a lot going behind him. They called him Young Slovy Bryant. He was really doing it. He was really making noise out of Stockton. Now, traditionally, you haven't had a lot of rappers come out of the city of Stockton ever since the Doja Clique. Of course, those of you from the 90s refer to the 90s catalog, the Doja Clique. You already know what it is. Business, right? That was about the last thing I heard out of Stockton. I'm sure there are other rappers that are making noise and doing their thing. You just don't hear much about them. Stockton, California, based out of the Central Valley, is just like Merced, California. We get no love, and I thought you knew it, but fool, you know how we do it, right? You're going to have very talented rappers coming from the Valley, but because they're not from the LA area or the Bay Area, they get stepped upon or looked over, especially in the hip hop genre. And that's an unfortunate thing. But this guy Slovy was basically making moves. He was making empower moves wearing shower shoes. He was definitely on the radar. He was working with Dizzler Entertainment. So he definitely was up and coming. And tragically, his life was took. Just another Northern California rapper hits the dust, to which he out from. That's how it goes. Those are the streets that we walk upon. That's the world we live in. Very unfortunate, but facts. Now you have a rapper named Young Bris. Pobrecito. One of my favorite rappers. You know, when it comes to these youngsters in this new era, new generation, there's several that I listen to and several I don't. You know, you might catch me in the cuts bumping some Little Weirdo from down south, San Diego, stand up. You might catch me bumping some Young Drummer Boy. You know what I mean? I got put on by my baby. She knows what it is. And I was like, damn, this motherfucker goes, right? You might hear me bumping some Grifo, some GB from Northern California, some Babyface Wood up out of Washington. You know what I mean? That Acito out of the Stockton area. You're going to hear me bumping these young rappers. But when it comes to Bris, he is the number one to me from this era. And the reason being is this kid was multi-talented, a lyricist, wrote his own rhymes, definitely displayed a lot of character and a lot of charisma in his videos and the way that he carried himself. Now, when you're from Sacramento, and we're not going to speak on the Sacramento politics, those that know, and those that don't, you shall never know, right? Go over there and find out. It's always been different. I've done time with many heavy hitters out of Sacramento, California, and I got to say that they wiggle most urbanly. They got a lot of the urban influence. There's a lot of black and brown united, a lot of audio warfare, a lot of audio and hood, turf politics, and gunplay. And that's just how Sacramento has always been. The capital city, the capital of California, what would you expect? Nothing less, right? We ain't talking about old Sac, we're talking about New Max. This is exactly what it is. Where you're out there wiggling on the streets don't play, and these kids don't play either. Okay, you've had several murders, several incidences where young rappers have lost their lives in the city of Sacramento, and of course, Bris was one of them. Now again, just like Slovy, and they did do some collaborations together. Thank you, do I look good? Spencer. Break. They actually had to do some of these collaborations together, and their style and the way they carried themselves and the charisma they displayed upon these videos was pretty similar. You know, they had similar cadences, similar flows, and similar tricky dance moves, right? They had a lot going on. At the same time, what I noticed and what I knew would be their demise was the way that they characterized their enemies. You know, you're going to have an enemigo. I call them enemigas. You call them enemigos. They are what they are. They're the other side, right? There's always going to be that other side of town, that other side of the block. You got the west or the north side, the east and the south side, right? That definitely don't see eye to eye and don't get along for various reasons, whether it be over a fat torta, someone pinched her butt. She said, ooh, that felt good. The homeboy said, no, you weren't supposed to say that. And I was gay, the winner was, right? Whether it be over a woman, whether it be over money or just envy and hate, there is always going to be some type of drama and a hectic situation that may take place. Now, when it comes to young Bris, of course, he lost his life tragically. And what was proclaimed to be the enemy seen him or was a setup, I don't know. I can't call it like an alcoholic. At the end of the day, it's none of mine or your business. He met his demise and what was a chase that ultimately ended in him being shot and a crash and his life being taken from him. Now, that was a pretty heartbreaking and a gut-wrenching moment for me when I heard this young kid died, because I was definitely into his music and I still bump his music daily. I recognize talent. See, I'm not from Sacramento, so their politics don't affect me. What they got going on, whether it be Fruit Ridge, South Sac, Iraq Stand Up, Oak Park, the 30s Gang, or whatever, you know, this Cash Money Lavish D era mixed with this Mozzie era and guys not seeing eye to eye, that is street politics at its finest. That is what it is, and everyone's going to adhere to it if you're from the city of Sacramento. Everybody knows about the ups and downs of one certain finger. You know, I ain't dumb to the fact, but at the same time, I'm not here to speak on that. What I am here to say is it's tragic that these young Northern California rappers are getting killed daily. Now, the same thing is happening in Southern California. You know, and people don't seem to realize or recognize this. When they do, it's too late. Our talent is being washed away before they can reach their peak. See, we were able to see rappers like Tupac, rappers like Biggie, at least accumulate some funds, have a decent life before they were tragically taken from us. It seems like every rapper that's very talented, multifaceted, and definitely has something going on and could be that next big one gets taken out the box quickly. Now, what is it? I'm not into fucking conspiracy theories. I'm not into thinking it's the man all the time. But I definitely wonder why we take our own. See, it's always black on black and brown on brown violence, or black on brown and brown on black violence. Most definitely. Sprinkle in the woods, brother. We like to kill people too. I already know, Spencer. All right, brother. They definitely do their thing. But at the end of the day, it seems like tragically our own people are killing our own people. Now, when I say our own, I'm meaning minorities. People of color. Because we're all the fucking same. We're going through the same hardships. See that Jersey Sloppy guts on right there? I got that same one. That motherfucker goes, eh? Right? And then when they sold it to me, they didn't say, well, only black guys can get it or only brown guys can get it. They said, you got the feria? I said, barely. They said, there you go. Broke ass Mexican. I said, shit. What I'm saying that to say this. We're all the same. Okay? And our rappers, we're losing them. We're losing them at the hand of other young gang members and other people that are basically hating on them or feel some type of way. Now, if you are constantly belittling your enemy, displaying challenges and throwing it out there, you're gonna get what you got. That's to be expected. Motherfuckers are coming for your head. They ain't playing out there. You know, it's a thin line between love. I said it's a thin line between some real gang shit and gang politics and rap music nowadays. See, back in our days, the Wild Wild West, Kumo D and LL Cool J used to beef, and Sasuke, next thing you know, you see them at the fucking Soul Train Music Awards playing with each other's booties. It was different back then, you know? Then it started getting a little bit more gangster, man. You had E40, but you hit foul. Less you dance, you got all the bread, motherfucker. Put up your bands. He was tripping lightweight, you know, on certain basketball players and things of that nature. And then, of course, you know, the biggest rivalry, which was between NWA and Ice Cube, and then also Tupac versus Biggie, that ultimately ended in their demise, whether it be over the rap, over the beef, or just they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, that is different. That hit different. That hits the long way. That's still unsolved. Hey, go figure that. They already figured out who killed Takeoff, but they couldn't figure out who killed Biggie and Pac. Spence on la tira. Some real fishy right there. I smell fucking tuna tacos. Yay, yay. Anyways, on a different note, it's just the fact that we're losing our young black and brown men to tragedy and to gang violence out here on the streets constantly. But it's their fault. It's their fault, man. If you're out there on the streets, if you're wiggling in an area that you know you shouldn't be in, or you got enemies, man, you're not cool to be out there. You're basically dumb, right? You might be done with the 50 cal drum, but at the same time, you're dumb nonetheless because you're letting people know your moves. See, real gangsters, OG veterano gangsters, never let people know their next move. They kept it quiet. Checkmate, right? That was the get down. They're playing chess while these youngsters, it seems, are playing checkers. And it's not because they're not laced up, right? It's because that is the thing to do nowadays. It's a popularity contest. It's a who can catch that bullet contest. It's a who's going to get over on who contest. And in the end, everyone's losing because you take mine, I'll take yours, you take mine, I'll take yours, I'll take yours, you take mine. Nah, I took more of yours than you took mine. And that's how it's looking. They're playing with bodies. Okay, they're not playing games. Their game is body for body. Headshots. Knock a lung out one top of him. Oh, you hit that for the lung? Gay ass shit. Watch out. I'm going to show you how to do a headshot real nice. Oh, they're AWACS. They're on their AWACS shit. They're different. Okay, so when we're losing rappers like Slowby, like I said, it's very talented, Bris, and several others. Been several more, Lil TYS, and of course, I've spoken in the past on a lot of these rappers, Lil Jody, and just so many that are gone out of Northern California, and I know there's a lot out of Southern California that I've spoken on too as well. You know, Draco the Ruler, of course, Slim 400, Nip, you know, so many more, Pop Smoke. But at the end of the day, you know, it's all about this social media type generation and what's going on, and these rappers having to be about what they speak on. See, back in the days, Dre, we knew Dre wasn't in the hood like that, but Dre sure rocked that Raiders jacket and that King's hat and made us all go out and buy one, right? It was a persona that he put on. It was a character. We seen that, we wanted to be like that, but we knew deep down inside he wasn't really wiggling like that. Would he handle his business? I'm sure he would. He's a grown man. But at the same time, he wasn't putting himself in those types of situations. That motherfucker was out there getting a mamon from fucking Miss Chalet in Beverly Hills. He wasn't trying to go out there and be on the block like that in South Central. Cube, a little bit different. That vato was over, are we there yet? He was over there making fucking family movies. But at the same time, people loved their music and loved what they said. But we knew it wasn't as real as it was. It was real to us, but it wasn't real to them. They stood about them streets. Now, you have these individuals nowadays, they're really in them guys. Do I look at it as, oh, that's real gangster shit? No, that's clumsy. You know what I mean? That's very clumsy, because when you're out there letting everyone know you're that man, you're carrying a stick, and you're in their area homes, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to defend their land the only way they know how, and that's get you before you get them. And that's why we're losing these young rappers. It's this. It's boca. It's mouth. When you're constantly challenging your enemies, and when you're constantly disrespecting them and talking about their dead homies and their peoples and where they lay their head, man, you know, they're going to be forced. You're forcing their hand to make that next move, their best move, which is that first move. Usually, the guy who swings first usually catches the KO. That's just how it is. Anyways, I wanted to bring it up because I've been watching it and seeing it, and I know that these murders happened a while back. Whether they arrested people for these murders or not, that's not the case, man. Like I said, innocent until proven guilty, and then they're still innocent because they have an appeal. So we're not even going to go that route. It's not about who killed them. It's more about the why. You know, and the why that I've summarized and thinking about it just on some G shit is that it comes down to individuals being individuals and feeling some type of way and feeling that they have to prove themselves to those around them. You know, are these guys going to carry on their legacy, or are they just going to go murder another black and brown man? One never knows, does one. But at the end of the day, my money's on B, not A. Anyways, with that being said, gente, I just wanted to throw a little something out there. Rest in peace to Slow B out of Stockton. And of course, rest in peace to Bris, as always, one of my favorite rappers. I'm a panhandle right now. I'm a bump some panhandling. Fuck it. You know what I mean? I got two hands out there. Like, can I get some? I'm just bro-sized Mexican. I didn't even say broke. I said bros. You feel that? Bang, bang. That's that new shit. With that being said, I hope that you boost move with a purpose. With that being said, I hope you go out there and you get it for your familia. Remember, only you can do it. Remember, if you're out there displaying them type of characteristics and disrespecting your enemigas, guess what you're going to get? I'll read about you. You know, if you like me, please hit that like and subscribe and fuck with your boy. If not, you can hit that thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears this crown. I'm going to continue to strive and struggle for what I truly believe in. And that's bringing awareness to the people, bringing them together so we can sit down and say, damn, moms, something needs to change. Something needs to stop. We're losing too much of our black and brown men, and the shit is getting old already, man. Talented is going by the wayside. Talent is going by the wayside. And then what do we got? New kids on the block and say, please don't go, girl. Fuck these other rappers. Get up, Spider. Get down, Chucky. Or is it vice versa? I don't know. I can't call it like an alcoholic. Fill me up with unleaded just because I said it. The gun. Bang, bang. Gunner's profiles.